What's going on? It's Jamie,
And John?
and welcome to the A-To-Zed Reseller podcast. How's it going this week, John?
Yeah, not bad, man. I mentioned right before we started up here that I had a softball tournament over the weekend and then another game last night. So I've been playing a lot and feeling it. I'm a little sore today, but other than that, no, man, pretty good. How about yourself?
Good. Yeah, this week's been busy. I seem to buy a lot of stuff recently, so I've been trying to get it listed. We're also going to be away from Thursday to Sunday, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna leave my store active. I'm just gonna ship before we leave and then catch back up on the Monday. But I had to create enough drafts, right? So when I was away, that I still had listings to do every day. I used to be a lot better of banking them, so I had a whole bunch ready to go. But recently, I've been just sort of just skating by, which is not a good feeling. I know you actually do bank though, right? Because you do drops.
So I don't create drafts though. I just list every day.
Oh, okay. Oh, I thought you built up a certain amount of inventory, or maybe you just save stuff. Is it maybe
Well,
not?
yeah, I have inventory that I get and I process and I do plan out daily drops with, but I don't draft my listings or anything. I just have it scheduled and I just have a list on my phone okay, you know, Wednesday the 27th is these 8 golf polos and they're in box 31 or something. And
Okay.
then I just on Wednesday the 27th just list those things. I got the pictures on my phone, good to go. I mean, I could, draft ahead of time, but yeah, I don't bother.
Yeah. I think I just like to, at the very least every day, at the end of the day, I like to try to leave myself 5 so that if something happens, because when I get up in the morning, I prefer to list right away just to get that out of the way.
Right.
And if I list more through the day, that's awesome. If I only list another 5 or draft another 5 for the next day, that's okay too. But that's my goal, to stay consistent that way. Yeah,
Well, and you're more prepared. You're a step ahead of me. That I probably should be doing that, but what do you do?
yeah, I think part of me doing that is just to make sure that I have items that I still want to list, I think too, because when you start, I know we all probably know this, when you start building up a death pile, you don't necessarily pick the junky stuff to list, but then over time, there's nothing but junky stuff that you don't even really want to look at anymore. So that's part of my goal too, is just to make sure that I'm going through this stuff and actually getting it listed. And I definitely listed some stuff today because I think I listed or drafted 25 items or something like that for just time away. Yeah, there's stuff in there that I probably wouldn't have picked for, if it was just going to be listing for the next day. So it's a good thing, really. I like to not try to have a huge death pile, but I mean, I do currently, because I bought all those shoes.
Right.
I used to buy a whole bunch of video games. I do have a lot of stuff at the moment. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's funny, talking about those less desirable items and stuff. I mean, yeah, obviously there's truth to that. There's always going to be kind of the crappy end of the death pile. But what's really funny is sometimes I notice, and it's recently happened, is that I'll just physically take a bunch of just stuff I've had kicking around forever, take it to the booth, put yard sale pricing on it, to try to get rid of it and stuff. And there's stuff that I've got a $2 sticker on. And then 3 days later, it sells on eBay for $23 or something. It's just and that's kind of that crappy death pile stuff. And I'm okay, well, this is my last ditch effort to get rid of it before I sell it. And it's weird how sometimes you get on these little streaks where maybe you're not having great sales, but then all of a sudden all this old stuff just starts selling back to back. And I find that's happened in the last week. It's funny when it happens.
Yeah. So I'm going to get into your booth sales here in a second, but I did wanted to mention, when I was getting stuff ready for my booth, one of the things I actually did was I grabbed a clothing bin, which is all categorized and labeled. So I know, where it is. So that's not a big deal. But I was going through and looking for graphic t-shirts, or maybe t-shirts that I don't really think are worth selling online.
Okay.
And I'm going to throw them in the booth for anywhere from $8 to $12, roughly, maybe even less than that. Really depends on the t-shirt, right? But I'm just I wonder if I can liquidate some of these out of here, because right now I would think people going in there, you might buy, you might get somebody getting a back to school t-shirt or something like that, where it's just a cool graphic. So I was thinking about trying to liquidate a few clothing items that I probably should have never bought, to be honest, but they're still in my store. But yeah, thought that was kind of interesting. But how was your booth this past weekend?
Yeah, so this past weekend, so I wasn't actually even there on Saturday because I had my softball tournament. So my girlfriend managed it on Saturday. Very, very slow. Sold like one game for $15, and I think she might have sold, one other thing or whatever. But then Sunday was really good. I was actually late getting there because again I had another game on Sunday, but I did show up for the last couple hours of the booth, and a guy came in and started looking at my games and was like, I'm kind of wondering if I shouldn't offer you something for the whole batch here of these N64 games.
Yeah.
And so immediately I was like, okay, well, this person's a reseller. Look, I've been there. That's what I do. I've built a collection by reselling. So immediately I kind of went into that, okay, like this guy's going to lowball me. I kind of got a little bit angry for a split second. I was like, wait, that doesn't make any sense. Let's not do that. So I just kind of started thinking about it, kind of logically, like, do I really want to piecemeal sell these over the next 2 years and, make a certain amount of money, or am I good with letting them go? So I made the decision before we even started talking numbers or anything. I'm like, okay, if I can land in this kind of range of sticker price, I'll let them go. And so I forget exactly how many games it was, but it was a little box of cheap sports games, maybe like 25 of those that I had like $5 a piece on. But then there was also probably another 20, 25, like, 10, 15, $20 games or something like that. And the total sticker price was $6.95 is what I had on there, which was basically like what I would have made after fees on eBay, somewhere around there. You know what I mean? Like a little bit less than market value, maybe just rounding down to the nearest $5 or something.
Yeah.
And yeah, he came up with a number. He's like, well, look, here's the deal. Like some of these are going to go in my own personal collection. This is what I do. I was like, I hear you. This is exactly what I've done. He's like, some of these I'm going to try to sell to make some money back. So I think that I would need to be at like 370 to 375, and my number was like 375 to 425 kind of range.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, he's already started in my range. I'm going to squeeze another $25 out of this. And so I countered, was like, look, man, you do an even 4, take them all, you're good. He's like, sure, deal. So I mean, yeah. Booth. And this is my sale of the week too. So the booth went really well because not only, was it a good sale, $400 for just games that were sitting on my shelf collecting dust, but, I also made a good connection. So, we've talked about it a little bit after that, where, there's other things that he might be interested in, either for his own personal collection or to resell if I'm looking to kind of, liquidate a little bit lower, if I'm a little more anxious to move some things. He's always looking for that kind of a thing. So it's so weird because I'm used to being that guy who's like going out trying to do those bulk deals.
Yeah.
But I was really comfortable being on the other end of it this time because like the reality was I did not want to sell each of those 50 games individually over the next 2 years. Like I could have made another $100, $200, but you spread that out over 2 years, and is it really worth it?
Yeah, it's becomes annoying almost at that point. It's funny, like when you're telling the story, which by the way, that's a great sale of the week on every week. I was thinking, okay, so I'm thinking when you're saying you're valuing it around 630-ish or roughly, right? I'm like, okay, probably 400 would be the number I would think would be okay. That would be like the point. And you guys were both right in that range, so that's pretty good. Nice to know my brain wasn't that far off of your reality. So that was cool.
Yeah. It's always good to be rooted in reality. And, the cool thing about this guy too was that he, and we talked after we made the deal, and we kind of revealed a lot more about, our positions and what we do, and talked about reselling, and he's done eBay for a long time. But, I think this is probably good because he knows he can't lowball me because I know what the hell I'm doing. But he can also still get a really good deal where he can add some things to his collection, make his money back, maybe even make some money, but like kind of build his own collection for essentially free, which is what I've done. So, I mean, I'm okay with that. Like I get that 100% because that's exactly what I did. Right.
Yeah, no, that's great. And do you think, before I get into my sale of the week, do you think part of the reason why Sunday was more successful was because you were there and you're able to engage and have a conversation about that? Because obviously, you know, your girlfriend Jamie, she probably wouldn't go out of her way to try to upsell somebody an entire collection or talk to them a little bit about the merchandise, right?
I mean, maybe, yeah, like that, you know, that could be some of it, but honestly, I think it was just the right time, like right place,
Yeah.
right time, because it's not a super busy place. I mean, yeah, we get some decent folks coming in and, you know, kind of looking around, but it seems like 90% of people are just kind of, you know, like older people walking along, just browsing along, you know, they want to have a chat about things like, oh, this is cool. I remember when I had one of these in the 70s, and talk your ear off for 15 minutes and don't buy anything. And I mean, that's fine. You know, it's a social thing for a lot of people. But yeah, I mean, I think it was good that I was there for that transaction, only because, you know, I could relate to that person and really relay and make that connection for future transactions. But yeah, I mean, fair question though, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I'm just kind of thinking, like, if you think she would be able to, like, pull the trigger on that or try to, you know, or would that conversation even come about at this point, right?
I did armor with some good info though. Like, so I made kind of a, for any time that I wasn't going to be there, if my sticker price equals this, you can take this amount. And I did it by like every $5 or $10 increment up to like $600 or something. So I'm sure it would have been fine, but you know, maybe. Yeah,
that sounds like the most John thing I've ever heard.
It is a very John thing to do. All right, so someone walks in here and grabs $475 worth of stuff. You can take 340. You know, just write it out.
Pull out this Excel sheet and it's ready.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So my sale of the week, I had a couple that could have been sale of the week, but I had a couple people not pay. And then I had somebody purchase something and then pay for it and turn around and put a cancellation request in really quick. So I had a couple discouraging things happen, but then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I got a really good offer on. Do you remember the Smashing Pumpkins Zero shirt that I got when I was?
I do. I really wanted that shirt for myself if it would have been in my budget and it was my size.
Yeah. So it came from, I think, a guy Frenchie's in New Brunswick. No, New Brunswick. Yeah, it was New Brunswick. I think it was. Can't think of what the little town was called, but anyway,
it's probably Oromocto outside of Fredericton.
No, it was the other way because it was closer to Moncton. Like my parents are in Rexton. The closest little town was Shadiac, but it wasn't the Shadiac one.
Oh, okay. All right.
But yeah, regardless. So I think your buy cost out there, I think it was like $5 roughly, just under something like that. I went back and forth with somebody, and I think we landed on, I think it went for $70 plus shipping. I thought that was pretty good because that shirt's been remade so many times, and that tag. So I knew the shirt was old, as in really good condition, but there wasn't like a visible tag where I could say it was on like a Winterland tag or something like that. That's very specific to a time period. So the fact that it sold for $70, because I had got a lot of like $30 and $25 offers, and I had people almost try to tell me that it wasn't, oh, this isn't worth that, bro. Like I got an offer for $30 last week on one, didn't accept it. It's like, okay, well, you should have.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Exactly.
This one's what I think I had it listed for 80 maybe, and it sold for 70. So I didn't, you know, I think that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in the same. If that shirt would have fit me, I would have kept it. I had that shirt when I was in high school. I wish I still had the one that I had in high school. But yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. Decent money for an old Smashing Pumpkin shirt for sure.
Oh, definitely. And you know, I mean, that's what I love about that chain of stores is that it's that price list. So you know, here in Nova Scotia with our 15% tax, t-shirts are $5.46 after tax. I mean, that's, you know, that's amazing, right? Like $5.50 into $70, $80, $90. Like I sold a vintage Misfits tee. It was on a Screen Stars Select tag, a red one, I believe, that was used between like 87 and 92 or something. From what I'm remembering, like that was kind of what I looked up, but I couldn't pinpoint it exactly. And I mean, you know, to be able to find that for $5 in a thrift store and then go sell it for $150 online, like this was a couple of years ago, so it's not my sale of the week, but Yeah, gotta love price lists, and that's what I love about the guys Frenchies.
Yeah, that is good. I know my local Goodwill is straight across the board $4.79. When I go to the next town over, it starts at $4.79, and then if there's a better shirt, it could be $6 to $8. I've seen some $12 shirts if they really think it's worth something. A lot of the times, those shirts probably wind up in the Goodwill bins, is what I'm thinking, unless it's a really cool shirt, because it's so hard. Like, especially when a thrift store starts like bumping the prices up. Well, now you need someone to come in there who would buy that and is going to be that size and is willing to pay $12.
Yeah,
they're limiting yourself a lot. Like, and they're allowed to do that for sure. Like I think they can charge whatever they want, and I don't have an issue with what they charge. I just think it's the thought process that goes behind that when you live in a small town. I know, like my particular Goodwill, they don't do that because it is a small town, and I think they found when they started pricing shoes higher and higher, no one would buy them.
Yeah,
they would just go to the Army or wherever else.
Yeah, it kind of makes me think of like the Valley Villages in this area that. Yeah, I think they're just a little bit out of touch on what maybe is still relevant or hot sellers. So like, I could be flipping through, say, like the button-up shirts or whatever, and every Tommy Hilfiger button-up shirt is like $17.99, and I mean it's just not worth that. It's an oversaturated market. But then I can pick up like a Tommy Bahama 100% silk Hawaiian shirt that I know I can sell for $50-$60 on Poshmark, and that one might be $8.99. It's like they don't know, and that's fine. I mean, they can price up the Hilfiger. Someone else can pay that. I'll pick up the Tommy Bahamas. Like,
I think we would have a hard time getting $20 out of a Tommy Hilfiger button up.
Oh yeah, I mean, it just wouldn't sell. Like, how do you get it seen? That's the tricky thing. Is like, I wouldn't even mind picking up some of these more saturated brands and pricing them lower if my buy cost was good. But like, you still need to get eyes on it. So it needs to be something really unique, because if it doesn't have some cool all over print or something that you can really put in there as a keyword, like how do you even get yours seen over the other 12,500 blue short sleeve button up Tommy Hilfiger shirts? Like, right?
I guess you'd have to
promote it 20%.
I was going to say promote really high, but then then there's all your margins are probably gone there too, right? Yeah, I don't know, craziness. How's eBay been for you?
You know what? Everything turned back on big time. Like, I had a few weeks in a row there where it was just like, okay, I'm pretty much not reselling right now because it's just been abysmal. But yeah, everything's turned back on. eBay's been good. Still not exactly, where it normally was. Like if I look on the app right now and I look at my 90-day, total from the last 90 days, I mean, it's including that slow period. So it's way down. But this last week or two, I mean, like I say, a lot of that older stuff that was just like, all right, I'm going to take this down to my booth and put $2 on it. Now it's selling for $17, $20, $23. Like I've made quite a few of those sales. And I know that there's visibility and traffic on eBay. I've talked about this before. Like when I can go on there and open up the app every few hours or whatever it is, and I have offers I can send out. I know something's not happening when I can go an entire 3 days and not be able to send out an offer. Like there's something wrong. Whether that's just people not looking, people not spending. And I'm not saying it's always just an issue with eBay itself, but yeah, it's back to just about normal now, I'd say.
I find there's no proof or science behind this. This is just something that I find that happens. So my past week was a down week, but not a terrible week. And I find anytime that I have any sort of case open, what doesn't really matter what the resolution is, but as soon as there's something in question, I notice that sales either stop or slow down a ton. Yeah. So like a lot of times I feel like that can play a factor too. And that's just my personal opinion based off of my experience on eBay. I know the beginning of last week, I had somebody say that a Guitar Hero guitar, one of the buttons sticked, and they wanted to potentially return it. And I think I said, how about I think I gave them 50% off, 50% of their money back. And said, you can either use it the way that it is or fix it or whatever. I don't even know if there was actually anything wrong with the guitar, if it was just sort of they were trying to fish for a partial or whatever.
Right.
Regardless, they said that was fine. The case was closed. But from that point on, the rest of the week, it was like crickets for a couple of days, and then a few things roll in, and then it just takes time to like ramp back up. And I don't know if other people experience that or not, but I find anytime that I have any sort of like issue at all, it definitely affects your sales.
I would say that every single reseller that's on YouTube that I have watched, and including myself, would say that exact same thing. I like, you know, for me, it's like someone hits a switch. It's immediate. You know, somebody says, "Oh, hey, they open up a case, you know, maybe some like letter mail shirt that I sent them. They're claiming they didn't receive it or something." From the second they open that case to the time I, you know, come up with a resolution, whatever that is, it's just like, nope, eyes off this closet or off this store. Shut it down, right?
Yeah.
And it's weird because you might expect like an algorithm hit to newer accounts or something, like maybe just as like a built-in safety feature, like, oh, you know, eBay recognizes maybe this is a problem account or something. So maybe like the first couple times something like that comes up, I would understand if they had that built into their framework. But I mean, you know, I've sold a couple thousand items there, been active there for years. They recently boosted my selling limits to like 5 million items or $5 million a month, whatever comes first. It's like,
you're basically,
well, okay. Like, you must trust me then. I mean, I'll never hit those numbers. I really just wanted my shipping coupon, but thanks. So like, it's weird that it happens so abruptly to established sellers with good feedback and a proven track record. But no, I think everybody experiences that.
Yeah, so I had another issue it hasn't been an issue yet, but I just had somebody message me today, a lot of cassettes. It was the Talking Heads. And the one is this weird, like special edition one, which I think is a bootleg, to be honest. And they messaged me and said, hey, like it looks like everything looks good, but it looks like somebody just recorded the tape and switched it out. You know what I mean? Like it was like somebody did that. And I'm like, well, I don't really think so. I said, I'm pretty sure it's a bootleg. And in editing, I can throw a picture up of what I'm talking about here. And if you're just listening, it looks like a blank cassette, but I think the company's called, I don't know if I can just look it up quick as I'm talking or not. Probably not, because my multitasking's been pretty recently. But yeah, like it just looks like a blank cassette tape, but it has the company wants me to authenticate all this stuff, but it's got the company header on it. I think it's like, I can't remember what it's called, but it just says that on the tape and it looks normal. The reason why I don't think that it's not authentic is because I have like maybe 5 or 6 other ones like that in the lot of cassettes that I got. And I said to the guy, like, if you want to see some other ones I have, just to show you that I think this is normal, because it's like a weird tape to begin with.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so now I'm like, that's going to be like, So I'm like, well, you can either have a hassle-free return where I'll just take it back and don't worry about it, or I can prove to you to the best of my ability that that's the way that it's supposed to be, or better yet, you prove to me that that's not the way that it is. And then at that point, you know, we can agree upon it, because I'm pretty sure that's the way it is. I couldn't even find that cassette on the internet, which is why I thought potentially it was a bootleg, because I was hoping some of those ones were like super rare and worth a ton of money. And then at some point, this is the way I think it anyway. You can only spend so much time researching. At some point, I'm going to cut my losses. I listed it as a bundle. And if somebody else gets, you know, $1,000 cassette on that, good for them, because I guess I wasn't willing to put in that extra little time.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, that's fair, because the reality is, if you're a perfectionist and you spend hours and hours and hours researching every item, like, and you know, really trying to extract maximum value, you're actually hurting your own profit margins, like your profits per hour. Like, there needs to be some reasonable limit. You know, like if I can't find much, or maybe I find a little bit of info and I'm like, you know what, I think it's probably worth somewhere in this range, I'll just throw it up in that range and see what happens. And in worst case scenario, I realize a couple months down the road, yeah, I'm not getting $30 for that. I'm getting $8 for that, or maybe it's never going to sell. Or maybe, yeah, someone does buy it, and then I see that they list it the next week for, 10 times what I did. Oh, well, whatever. I mean, that whole like FOMO, fear of missing out thing is such a current societal trend. We got to get away from that.
Yeah. I actually went through the same thing with my comic books, which I'm not through all my comic books yet. I actually did right before we went on vacation, I think. Pretty sure that's when I did it. I did a live when I was literally just going through comic. Maybe it was after I got back, but it doesn't matter. I was going through comic books and I was trying to find like, a really good one, just live talking to people. And I think it was like, man, I don't know, it was like 2.5 hours live, and I pulled like the best one I pulled was like a $20 one or something. But it was fun, and I thought, oh, this will keep me motivated and it'll make me want to do it. And then one of the guys in the live, which is Carl, the Lazy Reseller, he's sometimes on Scott Sells Stuff show. He also does a podcast with Scott. But he was in there and we were chatting and stuff. And he's like, listen, like what you should be doing is like look up Wonder Woman 1990 DC, check sold comps, then filter highest. So you just see the ones that are worth money. And if you don't have those, they're not worth anything. I'm like, well, that seems to make a lot more sense. But even in the moment, I think I said to him, like, but at the moment, I'm so involved in going through everyone in this bin, I don't think I could stop myself from doing it. And I just continued to do that until the live stream was over, and I haven't touched them again. But I do think when I go back to them, I am going to do that because, like you said, I've already spent way too much time on these. And that was exactly what I said to him. And like, I feel like if I missed one, I'd feel foolish. But then the more and more you think about it, it's like, you know what, but like, how much time do you really want to put into this too?
Yeah. But in fairness, I will say if you make content out of it and you had a live stream and it was just something that was kind of fun to do, and hey, you got some watch time for YouTube and all the rest, that's a little different. I wouldn't say that was like, wasted time or too much time spent or anything. I think, that's kind of a little bit different. Now, had you just sat there for 2.5 hours by yourself doing that while talking to yourself, I would think, all right, man, that was a little bit much, but at least you get some content out of it too.
Well, I've done both.
You've done both, okay.
I can tell you, the live streaming was definitely better. The problem, I guess, when you start doing the live stream part of it, like I noticed myself making a couple of mistakes when I was typing things in and stuff like that, and then I have to go back and look. I am pretty good at multitasking, but I'm also pretty good at like not being accurate when I'm doing it. Like, I guess I'm willing to do it, but it's not like I'm really good at it, right? I can do multiple things, but there's going to be definitely a little bit of it that doesn't come off properly.
That makes sense. I know there's been times like previously where I've, done live shows or whatever on my old channel where, I'm doing something and I'm looking something up, and then I just get so intrigued in what I'm doing, I almost even forget I'm on a live stream, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh crap, sorry guys, I haven't been talking to you for like 3 minutes. I've been reading this article. It's like, okay, yeah. So anyway, what I was doing over here was I'm just live streaming myself, just reading this article for like 3 minutes. Like, that's not the content you want to see.
Well, whatever. I mean, people are tuning in.
Yeah. Let's call it the Big Brother Jon edition.
Yeah, exactly. What about your Poshmark? Has it been pretty steady, or?
Oh man, Poshmark has blown up in the last week or two. Like, so I think I mentioned last week, and I think my sale of the week was somebody who bought like 4 items from one of my live shows, like Posh Show, Silent Show, and then the next day bought another 9 items or something in a bundle. And since then, it's just continued, like another 6-piece bundle, another 4-piece bundle, a $75 jacket. Like, it's nuts, man. Like, constantly, it's just popping up. So-and-so's accepted your offer of. And again, hey, shameless plug again for this whole Posh Sidekick thing. I see these notifications pop up. Congrats, someone's accepted your offer. I didn't send out an offer. I was playing softball, or I was, playing Nintendo Switch or something. So, but yeah, no, it's definitely been good. But I talked about this before and even made a video about it. doing those live shows and just having those going, even those silent shows, just keeps the activity going on the closet. And even if you don't make a sale in that show, you know, you're likely going to make a sale or two shortly afterwards. And that's what's been happening. And so even during that slower time, I tried to really ramp that up. And I feel like I just got to this tipping point, and maybe business was going to pick up anyway, because we're getting to that time of the year. But like, we just reached that tipping point where it was like, okay, I'm just doing enough shows and enough people are getting eyes on my closet. Everything kind of back to normal now. And yeah, it's been good.
How do you look at, so whether we're talking about silent shows or live shows or whatever, I know we both choose to do silent shows and automate them, but
yeah,
would you take, like, say you're going to do a women's pants or something, would that be the broad topic, or would you try to do like within sizes and then do the show within sizes, or the same with shirts, or you just do like tops or shirts and it's open-ended to all different sizes?
So what I typically do, I typically run 3 different kind of themes on Poshmark. One is women's plus sizing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll put like a few of the top brands in there. Like I'll put, you know, J. Jill, Torrid, Knox Rose, Lane Bryant. Those are kind of like the 4 main ones that sell for me. There were some other ones in there as well, but I'll actually put those 4 right in the title. So it'll be like women's or ladies plus sizes, name those 4. And then basically it's anything from, you know, XL up to 4X or whatever else. You know, I'll just kind of just use a selection of those. And it could be pants, it could be shirts, it could be anything, right? For men, because there aren't nearly as many male shoppers, it seems like, or nearly as much men's clothing that sells, I'll just kind of do a little bit of everything. And I'll even call it menswear, a little bit of everything. And it could be like footwear, jackets, shirts, pants, anything, and across any sizes. And then the third one I'll typically do is more like seasonal. So I'll be like, get ready for fall, and it'll be a mix of men's and women's jackets or boots or sweaters or things like that. I mean, I've done other ones, but like I don't get really specific, like, you know, men's large tees or something, because I just want to choose like a good range of you know, the 50 items you can do. But if somebody's like, hey, you know, I'd like to, do you have any more of this particular thing that I'm looking for? Then I'll just direct them to my closet and say, yeah, make a bundle. We'll do a good deal. Right.
Yeah. I think I generalize a little more but it's because of the categories I maybe choose to run. I'll do like a hat show. So it can be just all hats. I'll do a denim show and I'll throw in blue jeans, men's, women's, jean jackets, and it'll all be in there. And I don't necessarily have a gender. Shoes, the same thing if I do a shoe show. But I'm just wondering sometimes, because I think part of it is I don't find a lot of success in the actual live show. I definitely see the success in after it runs, you know, more eyes and getting full, not necessarily full price sales, but like offers and different things based off of that.
Yep.
Yeah, I've been thinking about potentially trying to do some different shows that were maybe just like a particular thing. Like the only particular things, like I said, was like hats because it's a universal size,
right,
or jerseys, because a lot of times jerseys are the ones I get typically are bigger sizes anyway. So they're usually larger, bigger. But yeah, I was kind of interested to see what your mindset was on your shows.
Yeah. I mean, you know, to be honest, like I haven't put as much effort or thought into them, even though they're automated, as I probably could have. But, you know, I have found some success with running those 3. And then, yeah, I might mix more. Like, you know, I might try things a little bit different and mix some more things up. But really, you know, those are the 3 that I've done. I've had some success with. I'm thinking that one of them that I was actually thinking about doing before, but I just haven't really ever gotten to it, was more like a jeans one as well, like a denim one. So that was one that was kind of on my radar. I just never got to it because I do have a lot of jeans and stuff. But so maybe I should throw that one in the mix. But
I think it'd be a good time because, you know, obviously we're still in summer, but unfortunately or fortunately, depends how you look at it, we're not that far away from fall. And it is that denim is definitely the in thing. You know, I think stylistically flared pants are more popular. But listen, there's, even though they're more popular, even if you have skinny jeans and all these other things, I know I hear lots of people say don't pick them up, but just because you have, I don't like flared jeans. I wouldn't go buy them. And there's,
Right.
I'm not, you know, I might not be young and hip and like all those things, but that doesn't mean that I don't buy stuff. And that doesn't mean, right. So like, I don't think you have to have the it thing to sell it. I think denim's going to sell. You know, I like skinny jeans that are ripped up and that type of style. I've wore those for the, like, I don't know, maybe the last 5 years, and it's definitely out of style. I just still like them and find them comfortable. And I think I sell lots and lots of ripped women's jeans and men's jeans still. I still sell lots of straight-legged pants, you know, to people. So, you know, I don't think just because something's hot and trendy doesn't necessarily mean it's the only thing that's going to sell.
No, for sure. And I mean, if you can get things at a good enough buy cost, it's good to have a diverse, you know, just appeal to as many markets as you can. I mean, unless you want to be like a very niche buyer that you have like this specific thing that you, or seller rather, and you've got this specific thing that you kind of focus on, that's fine too. But yeah, when it comes to clothing, I definitely dabble in lots of variety for sure.
Yeah, I think it's always smart to be on top of trends, because those might be the things that sell faster. And if you find those things, that's good. But I don't think that should be the end all be all, in my opinion. I mean,
trends change, right? Trends change so fast that you could be like a trend seller, and I'm selling all bootcut jeans, but then I'm passing up on the, you know, maybe the skinny jeans, but next year they might all be selling. And now what have I done? I've just passed on all of this great opportunity stuff because I thought, oh, this won't sell. Now next year, all this bootcut stuff that I have won't sell, and I won't have any skinny jeans to sell. So it's like, yeah, clothing, fashion, and what's in style, man, you got to take it with a grain of salt.
For sure. Like, I don't think Jankos are going to hold their value forever.
No, I wish I had another pair of Jankos though. Yeah. Oh man, I was a teen and had some Jankos, and my sister and her friends used to like steal them and wear them. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But, yeah, I would look a little foolish as a 41-year-old in 2024 in rural Nova Scotia walking around in Jankos. So I don't think I will, but
I don't know, man. John, totally like shave your head with a Bic, leather jacket, Jankos, maybe a chain wallet.
Yes, the chain wallet for sure. Showing our age, man. We're showing our age.
Yeah, for sure. You know what else I seen a Facebook ad for something, and I thought, oh yeah, I remember these. And they're trying to bring back mod robes. Do you remember those?
What is it?
Mod robes. They were like the pants. So they were like, they almost looked like hospital pants, but they had a built-in belt with like a plastic clip.
Oh, okay, I know what you're talking about.
Near the end of them being popular, then I think they tried to bring out like cow print ones and do designs and stuff like that, and they kind of went out. But yeah, they were just like bright colors. They were super 90s. I'm like, wow. I wondered if like a different company maybe purchased it and was trying to start it back up, because, you know, like or maybe they've always been around and I just didn't realize it. But
yeah, no, that's weird. I haven't heard or thought about those in a very long time. Speaking of ads, though, and I don't know why it was targeting me as a 41-year-old who definitely would have played it with these as a kid. But do you remember Pogs? You know, the little Pog circular things. I'm seeing ads for like Pogs are back, baby. That's what the ad says, and it's like the official Pogs Facebook page, like selling off these like. Trying to sell these new starter packs and stuff, and it's like, what's happening? These are back? Like, is this a thing? Is anybody actually buying these again and like getting back into it? But man, that was a blast from the past. The first time I saw it, I just cracked up. I was like, I cannot believe I am seeing this ad in 2024. I felt a little old, but you know, still felt pretty good about it.
Yeah, I just picked up a set of Pogs couple of months back. I don't remember if it was part of a video or not, but I think it was all the US states.
Okay.
And they were just two-sided, regular looking Pog thing. And there were some sold comps to suggest that maybe somebody was buying them, but I still have mine.
Nice. That's cool, man. That's cool. Yeah. I had quite a few that were like basketball related, like NBA related. and I had a lot of the gargoyles. That was
Oh
that was
yeah.
my back in the day.
Yeah, I seen this summer some action figures that were gargoyles, and then I think this person had like a DVD, and she had to explain to me what it was. And then after she did, I'm like, oh, I do remember that, but it wasn't something. It was something I remembered, but it wasn't something that I was maybe really actively watched when I was a kid or anything. But
Yeah, I actually have started rewatching the entire series within this last couple of years. Kind of fell off of it, but like Saturday morning, get out a bowl of cereal, sit in front of the 70s wooden floor model TV and watch gargoyles, man. I've been doing that in my late 30s and 40s, so here we are.
that's pretty fun, actually. That's
Yeah.
just a nice thought. I can't remember the last time I ate cereal, to be honest.
Great. We do try to like eat pretty healthy and stuff, but I always do like to have just, at least a box or two of a sugary cereal in the house for those Saturday mornings. I'm feeling like, you know what? No, I am not this like, middle-aged dude who has a professional job and a career and doing all these things and taking things serious. I am 5 years old and I'm watching Ninja Turtles.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've been on a crash diet for what is today, the 13th when we're filming this, for 13 days so far, where I basically just cut sugar out.
Okay.
For the first 5 days was prison. I was tortured because sugar's very highly addictive, and if you don't think it is, try not to eat it for a week and see how you feel. But for no other reason, but I'm sure vanity, like because we're going for my birthday in September, we're going to Florida. And I'm like, I currently am not going to fit in anything that I own that I would wear to Florida. So I'm like, oh, we probably need to do something. So that was the crash diet. So
right. The beach body diet.
I know my brother made fun of me because he's like, dude, it's summer. Do you not want to eat ice cream and all the good like food trucks and all those type of things you can get usually in the summer that are around? I'm like, yeah, I do, but I clearly have had way too much of that way too long. So
that's funny.
Yeah. All right. Anything else you want to throw in here at the end?
I can't think of anything else. I think it's been a pretty, steady couple of weeks. Things are definitely picking back up, and it feels nice to feel like I've got a successful reselling side hustle again, because it was looking pretty dark there for a little bit, but no, it looks like it's back. So it's just kind of exciting to see where it goes.
Yeah, I think going forward here, and we're not quite in the last quarter yet, but once we get there, I do think things will definitely pick up for everybody. We're always interested to know how your eBay store is performing. Has it been crickets? Has it been on fire? Poshmark, lots of people have hit or miss experiences with Poshmark. Let us know how your experience has been recently. If you've been selling locally on Facebook Marketplace, let us know, like I said, in the comments down below. Till next time, guys, if you like videos like this, please give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing for more content, and we'll see you soon.